Hello and welcome to an understanding of what Cambridge program is. This is an introduction to all our parents and everyone, educators, people who are interested to know how amazingly this board has evolved and what is it here to give to our students. So welcome from Sky Education and understanding of the Cambridge program. The very idea of Cambridge, even before begin with the assessment and examination and the board, is a centric body that brings awe to our mind. Think of the kings and the queens, the architects and the poets, the writers and the scientists. In fact, a decade ago, that is in 2009, Cambridge celebrated its 800th anniversary. So from that came the board. And the entire idea of the University of Cambridge was a board that gives an international program for students to develop curiosity and a lasting passion for learning. Like Sir Ken Robinson says, that today's children need creativity in their learning. Academics is not enough, and that is what Cambridge does. So this itself is a 150 years international board that provides almost 1 million students in 10,000 Cambridge schools over 160 countries. If you know the statistics, United Nations has said 188 countries, so Cambridge is almost covering every country that we know of, at least the ones you will get visas to. Malcolm X says, the great black rights activist for United States, he said that education is our passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. In short, to me, that is the vision of the Cambridge Assessment International Education. CIE, Cambridge International Education, now is CAIE, and this is what the program looks like. The entire Cambridge is this slide. So if you understand this entire slide, you'll understand what Cambridge program and qualifications are all about. Cambridge has divided itself into 4 stages of education covering ages 5 to 19 years. Each stage builds up on a child's development, is flexible enough and has lot of analytical scientific clarity to it. So when you look at Cambridge Primary, and each of them we'll discuss in detail, this is 5 to 11 years old plus or minus a year that we look at, and it has Cambridge Primary and Cambridge Primary checkpoint. So when I say 11 years, I look at a grade 5. If you look at the systems across, a very basic rule of thumb is for any grade, you want to know the age of the child, you add 5 years. So grade 1 is plus 5, 6 years old. Grade 2 is 7-year-old, and that's the way you go ahead. So 10 and 11-year-old is your grade 5. Cambridge usually uses the word stages. So stage 1, in our subcontinent area, we would look at for pre-primary, and subsequently stage 6 would be for grade 5. Then we have Cambridge Secondary 1, which covers up ages 11 to 14 years and has a checkpoint of its own. Cambridge Secondary 2 covers up 14 to 16 years, which has Cambridge IGCSE Examination. So now this is equivalent to 10th board examination. So here we are. You had first checkpoint, the primary checkpoint. We call it the secondary checkpoint, ideally in grade 8. And this one, the orange one that you see here on your screen, is the 10th examination, the IGCSE, previously called the O levels. And you go further, Cambridge has an advanced program for 16 plus to 19 years, which is your international AS and A levels. This entire chart is your Cambridge and understanding of what it is for the students. So the pathway is very, very defined. If I have to look at a Cambridge program, I look at Cambridge Primary and say, look, these are my subjects, and I'll discuss the subjects. So English, Maths, Science, ICT, which is your computers and information technology, and a new concept introduced called the Cambridge Global Perspective, or the GP. It's one of the most amazing programs I have come across. Something very similar to an IB's equivalent of TOK, Theory of Knowledge, or an exhibition in grade 5, but it is an independent thinking, very, very unique, in fact more detailed with guidelines, the Global Perspective program. Cambridge Lower Secondary has same subjects, you have a choice for English as a first language, EFL, we'll talk about that, or Global English. Then you have Cambridge Upper Secondary, where you have greater choice of subject. What makes Cambridge amazing is the range of choices that they have. So an IGCSE Cambridge program, where most likely our students would appear for, there are almost 70 plus subjects. They can choose from economics, business studies, environmental management, history, geography, biology, chemistry. This is the choices our students get, and as a school, our role is to guide them what are the best choices and combinations that they can get. For an advanced level 16 to 19 years, the choices are even more acute. There is a pre-U 20 plus subject, there is a Cambridge AICE diploma, and everything is so detailed. The website is there. You can go to cie.org, and everything I share with you is given in terms of PDFs that are downloadable. The purple line, that is a bar, a horizontal bar across, is a Cambridge Professional Development, which is CPD for all the teachers and school leaders. Cambridge keeps doing these programs over and over. Trainers keep coming down there. They are in-house locally or national trainers, and then there's Cambridge specialist trainers from UK. We can get the best out of it as we approach the Cambridge success path. Right. So now, what is CIPP? Cambridge International Primary Program. It's a program taught for primary schools, over 650 schools worldwide. So you're not alone. No, we are not aliens searching for water on Mars or Jupiter. We are in a very beautiful entire global culture where you share ideas. At the end of CIPP, you get a primary checkpoint where a child's progression is checked. In between, Cambridge has guidelines how to do your FAs, that is formative assessments, and essays, which is summative assessment. So you have your detailed program planner for these subjects. The beauty of Cambridge is it develops knowledge and skill in core subject. So you have English as your core subject. You can be first or second language, mathematics, science, global perspective, ICC starters, and these are great foundations as you develop. Cambridge also has its own learner profiles. So while these students are learning, the whole aim of the program is not just academic achievements. It also is the idea of developing these students into a confident learner, responsible citizen, reflective approach, innovative in their thinking, and an engaged student throughout the learning years. So this is what Cambridge learner profile is about. When a student is confident, they know that they are working with their own ideas or those of others. They have information with themselves. They are responsible and responsive and respectful to others around them. They are reflective, contemplation. They are mindful of others and their own abilities. They are innovative, where they are equipped to face the future challenges, as well as intellectually engaged and ready to make a difference. I think one of the best and little known, unknown facet of Cambridge is the learner profiles. I encourage the schools to develop charts around it, put it across, show the students how to be confident or reflective or engaged. And this is one of the things we do in Sky Education, where we bring out these elements from the textbooks, and the entire school culture is revolved around the learner profile. The key is keep educating yourself, or in a Cambridge language, this is called lifelong learners. So what does the primary assessment look like? So essentially, there is a Cambridge primary progression test. So schools do these tests, we help the school develop these tests, and slowly you build towards a particular area. And then you have your grade 5, which is stage 6 Cambridge primary checkpoint. The assessments are providing international benchmarks, and a student can correct the weaknesses and build on the strengths as they approach more higher subjects, more deeper subjects. What do I like about Cambridge? What I really love about Cambridge is the choice of the books they endorse. Because we come from a culture where textbooks are a part of a student's learning. So sometimes to expect a student or a teacher to navigate the entire learning objective without the textbooks is a big error area. So they might go wrong, they might pick up a wrong learning outcome. So Cambridge endorses books. And here is one example. One of the better books that I know of is Cambridge University Press. So Beautiful books, brilliantly illustrated, very nicely packaged. They come with a learner's book. So if you see on the right, there's a learner's book. They come with an activity book and also a teacher's guide. Now, there was an issue with Cambridge learners with English, where English as a first language was a choice of most schools, and I still stick for it, I go for it. But then there was ESL, English as a second language, and sometimes the university will say, okay, English is your second language, what's your first language? What I love about Cambridge is they listen to our woes, they listen to our complaints, and they change. So now Cambridge has called the second language English as Global English. It's absolutely beautiful, brilliant program. So most of us, if we are non-native speakers and your parents are not a regular English speaking community, you can go for Global English. Both the programs are brilliant, and this is just one example of an endorsed book from Cambridge. The primary English or the Global English. But then the subjects are varied. So you have even the choice of languages are there. So Hindi is a primary choice of language. If you are in the Middle East, there is Arabic, there is French, which is a very popular language because a lot of root words originate from French. I endorse German. Spanish is a part of the language. Mandarin Chinese is a part of language. So these are your choices we get. Along with it, the humanities is covered with global perspective, something which I really endorse. Human global perspective by itself has 6 different strands to it, which is what I call it RACER, that is research, analysis, collaboration, communication, evaluation and reflection. In some other presentation I'll explain that. You have your music, dance, art, speech and drama. ICT forms a core of a lot of learning, and then there is combined sciences. When I say CIE, which is Cambridge International Examination, which is now a new word is added, Cambridge Assessment International Education, CAIE. So as you finish your primary, there is a progression. You go to the lower secondary, everything remains the same, the subject increases, and there are enough books for a student to take reference from. So when I say there are a lot of books, another publication that I endorse and are very well endorsed by teachers across is the Hodder books. So essentially there are 3 or 4 publications I can refer to which are really good resource. So Hodder is one of them. CUP, Cambridge University Press, is another. Collins has good English resource. You also have something called Marshall Cavendish for maths that has come up, and Oxford, which some of the teachers don't endorse well, but these are your primary publications. Besides, there are many, but the Cambridge endorsed are the ones that perhaps with my limited experience I am acknowledging and endorsing them, but they're really beautiful resources. Right. So once you've done, let's say, your 8th standard and you are moving towards your IGCSE. So the progression is 8th, 9th, and then there is a 10th grade, the IGCSE Board exams take over. What's IGCSE? You'll hear this often. Remember I told you the earlier O levels are now called IGCSE, International Journal Certificate of Secondary Education. We are not comparing boards with each other because that would be comparing apples and oranges. Each board has its own merits. So the CBSE, ICSE, IB, state boards. What is special about Cambridge is what I can endorse. Cambridge as a board is very analytical in its thinking. It listens to you. The papers are very, very beautifully drafted. There is a space for student to answer. And this is what makes Cambridge IGCSE such an amazing program. It encourages higher academic standards through practical approach to teaching learning. It's not rote learning. It's not rudimentary learning. Assessments are not conventional written papers. The FA especially, the formatives, are orals and listening skills and speeches and role plays and quizzes and dramas and debates and poster makings and field trips. Yes, all of this. And then the students, as you go to IGCSE, gets a choice between core curriculum and extended curriculum. This is where a lot of people ask questions. So I'll explain that what it means. Core and extended. Core is for students who have an overview of the subject and they think that the subject is just good enough. So let's say I'm not very good with English or mathematics. I will not go for extended curriculum. I'll go for core. Core will teach me all the basics, and the grades I expect to get is C to G. Remember, these are not the conventional grades. So C in core is good enough. You have done very well. But that's how the Cambridge grading system is. A lot of us look at C or G and say, oh, that's not good. You say, no. Cambridge doesn't give you pass and fail. You get grade according to your performance. But a student think that he or she is brilliant in a subject or would like to specialize in that area. The extended is more challenging and are designed for students who expect to get grades A star, A plus to C. So that's how your grading is for in the core and the extended. Again, you have brilliant books. I've just shown you the Oxford and the Hodder. You have books which are IGCSE core mathematics, biology, chemistry, physics. I think the labs in Cambridge are beautiful. The reading program, the external and supplementary books that Scholastic provides or Cambridge provides, these are what we love about Cambridge. The choice that a student gets, a student feels that they have made decisions all throughout their life, and the gradual entry into PUC, that is pre-university, or even to higher engineering becomes primarily very easy, smoothless. The integration is welcome for a student. So what does IGCSE have in terms of subject being offered? So let's say in a grade 8, we have English as a primary subject. Then you have your local language. It could be Hindi or French. Then you have maths, economics, and believe me, economics is something I strongly endorse because the father of economics, Adam Smith, remember the Wealth of Nation and the books like that? He is a Cambridge alumni. That is the University of Cambridge alumni. So economics comes there. You have your PCM or PCB, physics, chemistry, biology. You have a choice between ICT or BS, business studies, and PE or physical education. There can be very many different commutations and permutation. I'm just giving you one sample. So don't say this is the final one. You can take one out, put something in. So it just goes on. So there is a difference between science, IGCSE, and commerce. The only thing that swaps between is, let's say your physics and chemistry, bio can be one, economics is still there in commerce, accounting can come in, and the rest of the things in science remains the same. This is only a sample. I would have loved to show you a mark sheet, but that's what Cambridge gives you. Here is just one variety Cambridge offers. Look at the choice of language you got. The books for each of them. Endorse fully supplementary books for French, Spanish, German, Mandarin Chinese. Perhaps you can look at any more languages and you'll find them. This is what Cambridge is about. A little detailed version. What is ICE or Cambridge ICE? The international curriculum says if a student can demonstrate competence across a wide range of skills, so there are 7 or 8 subjects, then instead of just the IGCSE, a student will be awarded the ICE certificate. So for ICE certificate, this may be a little technical, but I'll still go through it. The student have to at least appear and pass in 7 Cambridge IGCSE subject, 2 from group 1 and then 1 from group 2 to 5. And you can find these groups on the CIE website. The 7 subject may be chosen from any syllabus. You get a distinction which is A star in 5 subjects or C and B, and the combination holds on. But this is something that ICE certificate, they have to take all the subjects in one go. You can talk to us, email us for more detail on ICE. But so far, this is what Cambridge is. The IGCSE examination across India is in 3 sessions. In India, it's in March, May, June, and October, November. The answer script are directly sent from Cambridge for assessment. They are sent to Cambridge as well, and the exam officer has a very essential pivotal role here. Exam room, the strong room as it is called, need to be like an iron cage. There are discrepancies if Cambridge will not accept it, and you have to be very vigilant then. The results are subsequently declared in the month of May, August and January. One of the things I love and endorse Cambridge for is when, as a subcontinent team, we had a problem with examination when the exams were held too early or too late. Cambridge listened and they had an exam in March. It will keep changing as I speak, so keep updating yourself on the website for any latest thing. So what have we spoken about? One word, if you have to take about, is Cambridge promotes lifelong learners. Our children who have gone through schools, as Sir Ken Robinson says, I feel sorry for children who are in the school and the jails I pass by. I think a Cambridge school will never have a sorry state because they're learning all the time. Look at one of the testimonial from a Cambridge learner from South Africa who progressed to University of Cape Town is, I found that Cambridge developed a mindset a desire not to learn the work only, but also to understand and interpret the problems. I can endorse so many of our students having said the same thing. Cambridge gives you a way. They're leading the way. There is a lot of myth going on that students with Cambridge can only apply to the Ivy Leagues and the British colleges and not with local colleges. It's a pure myth. It's absolutely untrue. I know so many Cambridge learners who have done the IGCSE. They've gone to local best of the universities within the nation, within the country. They've done the 12th and they've done engineering. You can still crack as an Indian subcontinent IIT, JEE examination or CAT examination. All of those are specialized learning. You have to go and do your time and pace and other academies. Cambridge will only make you better, never take anything away from you. Remember, Cambridge is not just an alternative board. It's not an easy board because your student is not good or weak. Cambridge is an endorsed, a systematic scientific approach to learning. It's rigorous, it is consuming of your time, but it's also fun along the way. So to be part of the global community of Cambridge, you can look at all these links from the Facebook, Twitter, YouTube or LinkedIn, and believe me, you'll find lots and lots of resources. If you're on social media, one of these will really be helpful. In the end, before we say adieu, we have our own YouTube channel called Sky Education TV, where perhaps you're watching this one video, or you can email me as your school consultants, dawood@skyeducation.in, or tweet to me at handle CEO teacher. Until then, look forward to see you as a great lifelong learner. Have a great learning experience, you and your students. Until then, goodbye and see you later.